Welcome back to another episode of oh my god, yeah.
The what?
I don't know what I'm going with. Yeah, it's been a while since we've had to redo it. The Dees. The Dees. Welcome back to the Diesel.
Fucking Diesel cast. Talk about our favorite trucks. Fucking Diesels.
It's Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Corey and Mason.
Welcome back to another episode of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. As always, I am one of your co-hosts, Mason Schmidt. Here's my best bud, Corey Knudsen.
A beer.
A beer. I've been listening to When I'm Home by Travis Scott so
great.
much when I drive. It's such an interesting song. As always, we're going to talk about movies. It's been a slow week kind of in the recovery since the Odyssey. We had some stuff going on in our personal lives, a lot of wedding stuff, shenanigans like that, and been able to drink a lot. But there's also some movies that we caught up on. The Odyssey we watched again, but we'll talk about that, as well as we had Comic-Con kind of going on yesterday, and the big thing of Marvel in Hall H again and all those developments. So we'll be able to talk on those a little bit towards the end of the episode. But yeah, we're going to have a nice, back in our home base in our nice studio in Corey's apartment in Minneapolis. We'll finally be able to sit down and just drink and not have a stomach ache or have to worry about rushing to a toilet at a gas station in Hammond, Indiana. So yeah, let's talk about movies, new releases, and all that. Corey, how you been?
Good. We just had your brother's wedding a couple days ago. That was a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah. Very stressful day.
Yeah, for you,
Yeah.
you're officiating it and everything. I just got to chill and hang out with your
Yeah.
family and shit and drink and eat ice cream and all that.
Yeah, it was a very fun wedding.
Yeah, it was
And
great.
The venue was kind of cool. It had a bunch of different like kind of checkpoint places on their big. It was a vineyard, so a bunch of different like areas on the campus where we can go throughout the day. And yeah, just being able to drink with a lot of my family. I got to see some relatives I haven't seen in a while. But also, I'm very lucky, and not to get like too sentimental, I'm very lucky to have a great family and great brothers. Great mom, an amazing wife, but I'm also very lucky to have a great best friend that gets along better with my brothers than I do. To where when they show up and are all drinking together, it's Thanos getting the last Infinity Stone. It is just some horrible shit's about to go down. And my brother has a good friend of his that was in the wedding party and one of his groomsmen, Max. So Blake and Max, devious people to drink with. And then add Corey to that, oh my god. It is so bad. But it was a lot of fun. We got to go out to a couple of... Well, I went out to one bar. I was good for just one. I took some coursing in doing that. Thank you, Corey, and my brother Tyler for calling me a bitch for not wanting to go initially.
Do it enough times, you'll cave.
Yeah, I'll cave. And then Allie's like, damn it, okay, fine, we can go. And I'm like, thanks, it's good. All right, sweet. But yeah, we had a great wedding, and the end of July is nigh, and we're almost to Spider-Man Brand New Day, so we have that to look forward to. But we did have a good little watch week. Corey, what was the big one for both of us, I guess, this past week?
Well, after just our experience of seeing the Odyssey, even just seeing it for the first time, it would be a lot to take in, but just the way we saw it and the trip and everything, it was just a lot of getting to the theater 20 minutes before it started and having to like settle down and that rush. And even like the first 20-30 minutes when we saw it the first time, I was still kind of just reeling down from like the fucking drive in where I'm like, okay, gotta settle in a bit. And so we
made it.
I think we both wanted to see it again for sure. Regardless, we were going to see it again. But got to see it. I went to the Imagine Egan EMX screen, which is kind of like their IMAX type screen. So still a very good theater. And the first thing I want to say is that there's been some backlash or stuff after the movies came out that people are like, well, it's so pretentious of Christopher Nolan to make a movie that only like 40 theaters in the world can truly show. Like, you're not getting the full experience if you're seeing it on a normal theater. That's not the case.
Yeah.
Everything that is intended in the Odyssey, you can still get on a regular screen. You'll be able to get it, when it comes out on Blu-ray on your TV. Like, you're not missing anything like instrumental. It's just really cool to see a more extended version, like literally extended picture. So I just want to put that out there first, that after seeing it on that 70mm IMAX and then a regular, like more regular screen, it still looks great.
Yeah.
It's still fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was kind of my big worry, I think, going into a second viewing this week. I saw it also at an EMX Imagine screen, but just a Willow Creek location, and that being one of their more premier screens that company puts out. Seeing it on that screen, I was like, it didn't lose anything for me, and that was my big worry of like, were we spoiled by seeing this in 70mm IMAX? Maybe to a degree, but also that whole experience was just like, it's such a special thing to seeing if that second watch was going to hold up or hold a candle to that first viewing we had. Was something I had to kind of get over and feel out. And yeah, I snapped right back into the movie on a rewatch, you don't really notice the difference. At least I didn't. I feel like in the image, like you said, it's nothing is really changing. You're not really missing anything. It is cool to see it in that taller frame, but it's still great. The thing that hit me more, and I don't know if it was just the audio in the second theater, that EMX screen was better than the one that we saw it in 70mm IMAX, but this movie is loud as fuck. Chris Nolan, you big loud fuck. Which I love Chris Nolan. It's a harp that I think he gets, but I think he also figured it out in this movie. The sound mixing is a lot better than some of his previous films, so it's not like you're losing a lot of dialogue. The score is great. When the shit hits the fan on the ship in like the latter moments of the movie,
Poseidon's just fucking them.
And it's dark out, and that scene goes on for a while. I was like, oh my god, this is the loudest thing I've ever experienced.
My asshole's rumbling right now.
Oh, this is so terrifying, which it works so well. It's still so effective. It was a treat to be able to see this again. I know I'm probably going to try and see this movie at least 2 more times. Whether I find different formats of it, I don't really care too much. I just want to see this movie, and I want this movie to not be such a new special thing to me. I want it to immediately be a memory to me of how much I love this movie and being able to just like feel it out, and I want it to not be new to me anymore. I want this to be something that I can love and cherish for a long time to come, which I know I will, because on this rewatch, I can confidently say it's my favorite Christopher Nolan film. It has surpassed Dunkirk for me. And with that, I also will say it is... I harp on Dune Part 2 being the best film that's been put out since I've been alive, the best film since 2000. I think The Odyssey is the second best film to be made since I've been alive. Best put out since 2000. So this will definitely enter into my top 100 favorite films of all time. I'll need to kind of feel it out. I'll probably rewatch Dunkirk in the coming weeks just to see how big of a chasm there is between those two films. But yeah, The Odyssey, it's something special. I also love how many people are rushing to see this movie still. And like people that are not like big film nerds or friends of ours that are going to see it. I was talking to my wife about it, and our friend Aaron is going to go see it today, I think. Cool. And I'm like, wow, awesome. Like people that I'm not like expecting to rush out to see a movie that is 2 hours and 50 minutes long, or 250 plus, and a big sprawling epic. I love the pull that this movie has on people.
Oh yeah, this fucker's hitting $1 billion.
Oh, I can't wait. And it would be just this and like Deadpool and Joker, or a couple of Deadpool movies and Joker and the Odyssey. Oppenheimer got real close, but I'm so excited that is a very strong likelihood that it will cross the billion mark. Yeah,
so I mean, we've obviously done a lot of talking about this movie on our trip and a review in our Grand Rapids hotel room. But just a few things I wanted to point out, just kind of noticing on a second time. Everything's still held up. Everything is still great that we already mentioned before. Performances, technical stuff, all still fantastic. Just some of the, like, breaking down a couple of the scenes of the actual Odyssey back for Odysseus. I just love the Cyclops sequence so much.
Yeah.
Of them just problem solving, getting out of the cave, where they're like, all right, let's stab this fucker in the eye, and then they're like, wait we can't get out.
When they're on the 1 yard line, they're like, wait a minute. Whoa,
it's got the sword back.
We can't. Guys.
Hold up. And doing that, and then just being like, all right, well, what if we send 2 guys at a time?
Yeah.
And then what if we send 4, 2 on each side? No, they got fucking smashed into the wall. And then what if we put, like, like trying to imitate the sheep or put hay or whatever on there.
And, stuff like that.
So all that is great. And then, Odysseus just disregarding Zeus's law and just ripping an arrow into Cyclops' eye.
Well, I mean, and I always thought that it was kind of, and I must have forgot about it on the first viewing, but I was like, that felt like a low blow. You didn't need to do it. You guys made it out, but like the Cyclops spitting out that helmet, it's like, fuck you too, dude.
Yeah, all right.
Like, you killed some of our men. Like, we're not trying to hurt you. We just ended up in your spot. So sorry.
Yeah, no pluck for you, big boy.
I'm not bringing this G cord for you. You're getting it right in the neck.
Anything. Fire in the eye and a fucking arrow in there. So it's still a great sequence. The Laestrygonians, we have since learned what the big guys are called.
Or how to pronounce it.
How to pronounce it, yeah. I've seen the word before, I just didn't know how to say it. That sequence is great. That is one scene where I missed the 70mm IMAX a little bit. I just remember the trees being really tall. I like the height of the Laestrygonians, actually. But I just love the trees moving when they're trying to get out. I'd kind of forgotten that on the first
that's
watch.
such a small moment in that sequence that when it kicks in, it's like, and then it basically makes a cage around some of them for them to just, all the Laestrygonians just stab them. Like, that's terrifying when they're just like, we can't move.
Yeah. And the Laestrygonians just hacking at the ships. That's like such a terrifying thing of just like, oh, 2 of our ships are down.
Yeah.
And like our guys, we gotta leave them.
Similar to like how I talked about that scene in Disclosure Day when they get pushed and their car gets rammed into the train and it just keeps getting thrilling and you're like, I want them to not get pushed into this train, and then it doesn't. It's just like, all right, now we're on a ride. When they finally get to the beach and the Laestrygonians are just wreaking havoc on 2 of their ships, I'm just like, they're not getting out of here in one piece. And I was so genuinely concerned for them. I was like, I don't know how they get out of this. This is terrifying. So I think that the impact of that still works. And now hearing more about how they shot that, kind of practically with the stunt doubles and all that, it just adds more to how cool that actually is. We talked a lot about like different performances that are really good in this film. 2 people that I haven't really mentioned. Logan Marshall Green has a small bit role as one of the like cow herders, or one of the people that works with on the island of Ithaca and serves the late Odysseus, but he just runs kind of the temple and stuff. And I think that he is a good smarmy little slimy bitch in terms of trying to get the weapons to the suitors once it all hits the fan and Odysseus is revealed as Odysseus. I think he was really great. He is kind of like watered down Tom Hardy, or that's the way people talk about him, but I think he was really good in this movie. Also, Corey Hawkins. I think you get a lot of great stuff between him and Robert Pattinson as the main 2 kind of suitors in that Ithaca location, in that temple, and I think that they go so well together. And a lot of the worst things of like put the dog on the shit heap and like and kicking the dog, and I'm just like, Corey Hawkins is great. He has a smaller role, but he really works in this movie too. So I like, all the performances are fantastic, but I don't think we've really recognized or acknowledged those. Also, Travis Scott. He's not a big part, but him starting the movie, I think he has a great role in the film as well.
There's a really funny line from Corey Hawkins that I kind of noticed on a second time towards the end when Odysseus comes back into Ithaca, and I think it's Odysseus gives Antinous the little stick, the little peg that was Sinon's or whatever, the lottery thing, and then he's like, yeah, this was Sinon's, and Antinous is like, I don't know who that is, and Corey Hawkins is like, no, isn't that the person that you were there? He's like, shut the fuck up.
Your old shepherd boy?
Like, no, you mentioned them before.
Wait a minute, who is this?
But no, I agree. Corey Hawkins is great. Another great performance that we highlighted last week is Samantha Morton, and the Cersei scene just still works so incredibly well. I just like her dialogue with Odysseus too. Yeah. And even when she's changing them back into men, she says from pigs into men, she's like, go back into your disguises, and she's like, your men are just like raping and pillaging and stealing food and everything, like they're the pig form, like they're actually pigs, and this is just their disguise.
And I think that that's maybe the start of setting up kind of the atrocities of war, and also the stuff brought on by the sea people, and like that intertwines and interweaves really well into the latter parts of the movie when you find out who the sea people are. Oh, it's the men trying to get back home, and then basically just portaging on all these islands and trying to find a way home, and everywhere they go, bad things happen, whether it's their intention or not. I think that that's all handled really well. I think one of my favorite scenes upon a rewatch was the decapitation of the statue of Athena, and how they do that, and what Odysseus sees of the actual god basically being taken, put on her knees, and being decapitated in front of him. And I think that intercut with him basically talking to Penelope, but also Athena being there in that moment, I think that that is one of the best moments in the entire film. It also shows that kind of we are horrible. What we've done is horrible. And I like all the comparisons now that have been coming up too about Oppenheimer in this. Nolan brought a lot of Oppenheimer into this movie, and that kind of anti-war messaging, and how we made this great invention to take down civilization, but now that is ringing out throughout the land, and I'm ruining modern civilization by what I did. Yeah, I was smart to do it, but now what's the cost of it? So I think that this movie, it's exceptional. And at my brother's wedding, it was just every one of my relatives, that was the movie. It was, did you see it yet? I saw it, I loved it, or I haven't seen it. What did you think? And I like the conversation that's surrounding this movie so much. It's really just something special from this year. So, and I want to go see it again. Talking about it makes me want to go see it again. So I'm excited to check it out, probably a third and fourth time.
Yeah, the Oppenheimer comparison really kind of struck a chord with me this on the rewatch for sure. I just got a lot more out of it this time. Just piggybacking off of what you said, where it's just stories about these men who made very important decisions during wartime, and led to things that they maybe didn't have the intention of.
Yeah.
But I think it is in that scene when Odysseus is talking to Anne Hathaway when he comes back, which is still my favorite scene from the movie.
Yeah.
And he's like, to burn the walls of Troy was to burn the entire world.
Yeah.
And just the impact that had on him led to him initially not wanting to go home. They bring that up a couple times, and it's kind of highlighted great in that siren scene, which I think the sound design is great. Of when they put the wax in, you don't hear, you just see Odysseus screaming, and then you hear him talking about it afterwards, and he's just kind of highlighting what the siren song was for him. And one of my favorite quotes from the movie is, what you most want is what you most can't have, and what you most can't have is what you already had and lost. That's fucking great writing.
Yeah, and I think that scene specifically, it's another standout in the movie, but it's also maybe the standout in the score for me. Like, it's one of the quieter moments in the score, but it's so haunting, and that intercut with them trying to sail past the sirens and the men, and him just screaming. The sound design in that entire scene is sensational. I really liked that aspect to it. There's almost no notes I have for this film. The one borderline nitpick negative I have is in that Odysseus reveal and then that kind of fight scene that follows with the suitors. I think that it gets a little too Christopher Nolan action, where it's not like the most well framed. It's kind of too kinetic to where I'm like, we're bordering on choppy cam or like shaky cam. It doesn't ruin anything for me. I just wish I kind of want some more like sleek, close-knit kills and some wide frame shots, but it works for what's going on, because it is just chaos in that room now with all the suitors trying to get him. And I again, Robert Pattinson hiding behind the pillar, spears, get the spears. It's so good, and James Remar is fantastic as well. He has a very small role. I remember like when he got announced, I was like, oh, who's he gonna play? And he has like maybe 2 minutes of screen time, but he's sensational as well. He's covered. You can only see his mouth, and it was like I can tell who that is by the voice.
Yeah.
I almost no notes on this movie. Still on a rewatch. I can't wait to watch it again.
During that fight with the suitors too, it's so awesome when some dudes just start kneeling down in the middle of the fight, as they're like, fuck, we're not gonna beat him.
Yeah, and on the first time watching it, I thought it took a long time for them to get to that moment of like, this is Odysseus, we're outmatched, but also this is our king, we need to take a knee. I thought on a rewatch, I was like, they get there pretty good. They get there pretty quick. They let some people bite the bullet, and then you can start to see some of the guys are like, there's no way out unless we submit, so maybe drop a knee right now.
Yeah.
I think that's still handled so well. I will say, watch The Return. If you're a big fan of this movie, The Return is a good portion of the Odyssey. It's mostly once Odysseus is on Ithaca, and he's landed, and now he has to go through that facade of being a beggar and trying to find his way to infiltrate back into his kingdom. And I think that movie with Ralph Fiennes as Odysseus is really handled well, and I like the way that I like how both films handle the arrow through the axes scene and shooting that, and I think it's done really well, and I like a lot of the violence in The Return. The Return's a little bit more grimy and bloody and nasty about some of the kills in that final sequence that I really appreciate. I don't think it would really fit in this movie to handle it in the way that The Return did, but I think that they both do a good kind of representation of what those latter moments of the Odyssey are about. And The Return's not the best Odyssey movie. It's not better than this movie, but I think it has a good kind of perspective on those events too. So I'd recommend that. It's not going to be as good, but it is a worthwhile watch, I think, too.
I also appreciated a lot on this watch. I already liked it before, but just the scenes with Calypso, played by Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed just their conversations, their back and forth. It's in a way sort of the framing device for the first like 2/3 of the movie, where he's just eating lotus flower and she's keeping him there. And we kind of mentioned, I think, last week that a lot of times the Calypso character can be more of a straight villain,
more
of like, you're my like captive, like I'm holding you here. But I like her just being like, I like fell in love with you, and I liked you being here. But also serves a purpose for Odysseus' character, where he needed to heal his body before he could heal his mind, and then he slowly starts remembering things, and then he kind of realizes, and Calypso tells him like, you need to face punishment from the gods for what you did, for like we said, the impacts of the war and the Trojan horse. And there's just lines he has too, back to that conversation with Penelope and Ithaca, when he's like, we like betrayed man by like, we gave them a gift from the gods and we betrayed their trust, and we are the worst of mankind for doing that. And he's like, I just couldn't like I didn't want to come home because I knew that the impact this had spread everywhere, and I couldn't see that in my own home.
Yeah.
And coming back, that just all that stuff really was so powerful. And seeing my favorite chunk of the score is the track Odysseus, and it plays when there's a lot of the flashbacks to Troy, but the main one when it's showing them coming through the gates and storming out of the horse and everything. And that score is playing, and Agamemnon comes in all badass, but just seeing it on fire, seeing all of everything burning in Troy, and he's just like, the rage of 10 years of sitting on that beach came into that city, and I just saw awful things. And that changed me forever. So, that was just, I don't know, that scene worked really great. And again, with Athena sitting there with him on the steps while he's telling that, and just like holding her hand, it was really impactful. And then just ending the movie with the shot of the burning Trojan horse, just the head of the horse, and Odysseus and Penelope are talking on the boat as they're going west, where he's like, yeah, we made mistakes and it'll be remembered, but then these mistakes will be forgotten and people are going to do this again, and mankind will make mistakes and do terrible things in the future. And kind of like the message Oppenheimer had, back to that comparison. So this movie, just on a second watch through, it was really nice to just have that first watch in our back pocket, have that amazing experience to see it in the true format, even though you can still enjoy it without that. But just to really dive into some more of this character stuff, little things that I missed before. A lot of great foreshadowing in the movie too, just even with Logan Marshall Green, back to that, like the spurs on his shoes, and how that comes back in with John Leguizamo, or even just including the plucking of the bow into the score earlier on in the movie, and you just hear boom, boom, boom.
And it works really well, and I think specifically Odysseus, that track on the score, it's so good, because it builds to it, and then it doesn't have the harp, and when you're listening to it outside of the perspective or without it in the actual film, and you're just listening on its own, it works so well, that build up, and then when you get that boom, it's so effective still. But that thing, that moment between Penelope where he's talking about how he betrayed Zeus's law, I found the line because it is a really great line, but it's Penelope saying what all of you had done, and Odysseus says, one man's idea, one man's trick, to break Zeus's law forever. We live in a world of palaces, trades, language, blinded with beauty until we broke it. And that is such an effective delivery. That is such an effective kind of motif and theme to die on with this movie, of just like, we won, but we lost so much because of us winning. And I think it's just so effective. This is like an all-timer epic for me. Like, this is maybe the definitive version of a Homer told story, or a Homer story transcribed into film. And I can't wait to continue to watch this movie. There's so many great moments of just awesome imagery, but it all works. It's all so cohesive. This is, to me, Nolan's magnum opus. Like, and that's saying a lot when it's The Dark Knight, Oppenheimer, Inception, to me, Dunkirk. But like, this man cooks every time. He's just making some of the best films we have. And now with the Circe stuff and like the Cyclops stuff, now I want a horror movie. But honestly, I want him to kind of stick in the world of like old myth, like doing a horror-leaned interpretation of Heracles and what that does. I'm like, give me some real gory, scary shit, because I think Nolan's well proven that he's capable of it. But yeah, this movie, you're gonna hear about it come Oscar season. You're gonna hear about us talk about it probably weeks coming on and on, almost every week probably until Oscars, and then well after, of just how great this movie is. So go support it. Listen to the score in your free time, because honestly, that has given me a good deal of appreciation for that. And then seeing the movie again, I'm just like, it sings. It works so well. So what a special, awesome movie. I'm happy we both saw it again this week. Yeah, I think right now it's still at my number 4 for Nolan rankings, behind Inception, Dark Knight, and Oppenheimer. But I mean, those are also 3 all-timer movies. So it's like, it's like a crazy run. It's like arguing best Spielberg movie. It's like everyone can have a pick, and you're not going to be like, well, that's the wrong pick. Unless you say Dark Knight Rises, I might be like, well, maybe think about it a little bit longer. But there are so many of that top echelon, like top 6, top 7 of Nolan, where you say that's your favorite. I'm like, yeah, sure, makes sense. I'm just overwhelmed by how great he is as a director, and also just by how exceptional this movie is. A movie that I did watch this week, which I did not think I would get to, but driving back from the wedding and all those festivities, my wife was interested enough in it just because Sophie Thatcher was in it. She read the synopsis and was like, you know what? I'm sold. Let's go see this tonight. So last night, me and my wife went and saw Her Private Hell, which is Nicholas Winding Refn coming back to directing films. This is 10 years past, I think, his last film, which was The Neon Demon. Still haven't seen that. I was really interested when that movie was coming out. Never checked it out. His films don't always work for me. I think what he did, is it Valhalla Rising with, what's his name? Mads Mikkelsen. Awesome movie. He also did Drive, which I think is his kind of claim to fame for a lot of film fans. That is like his definitive film. This movie is a hypnotic, unhinged thriller with an original story promising plenty of glamour, sex, and violence. I can promise you there's not a lot of sex. I can promise you the violence is relatively subdued for something that I've heard was really gory. It's not that gory. Settle down. I will say the one positive I can throw at this movie. Well, there's probably two. The performances are largely pretty good. And the imagery is pretty cool. It's very neon-soaked, neon-drenched. They don't really explain the time period or when this all exists. It's somewhat futuristic. But that's the extent of my positives for this movie. This movie is, I think, an hour and 49 minutes long. And I think the script was maybe 30 to 45 pages long. At least that's how it felt. Because every piece of dialogue from every character is given at 0.5 speed. They put unnecessary pauses between every single word. They are milking this movie for everything that it's worth. This was one of the most nauseating, boring experiences I've had in a film. And I thought me and my wife were probably both going to fall asleep. There are some moments of Sophie Thatcher, like great performances from her, and Charles Melton at times. I think this movie thinks it's way better than it actually is, and it thinks it's going to get you at least invested enough to try and unpack some of the stuff that you see. Because this movie doesn't try to over-explain anything. It leaves just a lot of random shit on the table in hopes that you'll figure it out later or think about it. This movie didn't give me anything worthwhile to invest myself in to want to understand it more. I think it's not the worst film I've ever seen. There's some disgusting things in here. Mostly some semen-soaked panties being pushed into the mouth of a woman when she's asleep. That was disgusting. And my wife was just like, oh, no one wants that. And I was like, thanks for your commentary right now. But it was one of the most, again, nauseating, pretentious experiences I've ever had in the theaters. Nicholas Winding Refn, like I said, 10-year absence from directing. And then in this movie, at the very start, before like the neon logo comes up, before all of that, the production studios and all that, he does almost what I was explaining to Corey when COVID was going on and every director or team or cast was like, hey, thank you for coming to the cinemas to see this movie in theaters where it's meant to be seen. Kind of in guard or in line with that, Nicholas Winding Refn's like, hey, it's been 10 years for me to make a movie. Art is supposed to be polarizing. Sophie Thatcher told me that she's so crazy in this movie. Charles Melton said my body's never looked more beautiful. And he's just going on, and you can see someone that thinks he's way smarter than he actually is. And that's coming from someone that thinks he's way smarter than he actually is. But, oh my God, Nicholas Winding Refn, take 30 years until you make your next movie. Or die before you make your next movie. Because if you're going to try and not make me, but if you want people to support your movies, give them something. You got to give them something enjoyable. And this movie was literally passing kidney stones. Like, I could not recommend this movie. I don't want to spend much more time on it. Aside from that, I would say watch the trailer, and maybe that is the best experience you can get with this movie, is the 2-minute clip of the trailer. It will tell you everything that happens in this movie. It will show you all of the cool things about the visual appeal of this movie, and then you can wipe your hands of this movie, because there's no point in seeing this. I'm one of those people that will happily go see just about any movie, and I try to have positives. Sometimes I like to rant and say negative shit about a movie from time to time, but I'm going to the movies. I'm happy to see a movie, even if it's a bad movie. I was not happy to see this movie. This was a disgrace for me. So, Corey, please go check it out so you and I can hate on it together. But yeah, I can't recommend this one. Odyssey's in theaters. Spider-Man's coming up soon. There are other movies that are worth your time. Yes, one's a big tentpole and one's a big tentpole franchise film, but this creative piece of shit was just a creative piece of shit, so don't give it your time.
I remember when this premiered, I think it was at Cannes, at the Cannes Film Festival, and it was just that divisive reaction where it was like, some people walked out 20 minutes in, and some people love this movie.
I don't understand the love for it, but hey, to each their own. All film is subjective, but I very much would have aligned myself with the people that walk out. The only reason I didn't is that my wife was with me, and I don't think she would have been like, we spent money on these, I'm not leaving. Like, I would have been like, I spent money on this, they can have it, bye. I don't need to be here for it. Yeah.
If you were by yourself, do you think you would have walked out?
100%. 100%. Like 10 to 15 minutes in when I was just like, okay, I see where we're going, and it's nowhere. We're going nowhere. Just an absolute waste. The synopsis at least kind of sells it as, or tries to sell it as a murder mystery. There's a killer lurking in the mist outside of this big skyrise in this neon-drenched city, and there's some time travel elements or like multiversal kind of whatever. It's trying to be way better than it actually is, and Nicholas Winding Refn has his thumb so firmly planted all the way up his colon because he thinks he is just the savant of his era. And oh my god, please, for my sake, don't direct again. Please. That's all I have.
When he eventually passes away and we do the...
You're gonna cut what I just said into it? No, we'll talk about Drive, and then I will say nothing. Because if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all, which I break that rule all the time.
Broke Zeus's law.
Yeah. Yeah, not a fun watch.
No. I may watch it someday, probably not in theaters after that glowing review.
Fucking don't. Honestly, watch Venom: The Last Dance 6 times before you watch this. Exactly. Watch that. I would watch that movie. Oh my god. The experience I would have had watching that movie 6 times in a row in one theater, nonstop, no breaks, back to back to back to back to back. I would do that 30 times before I'd sit down and fucking subject my eyes and ears to experiencing this piece of shit again.
The black one.
The black one. Yeah.
What a deep cut for Venom: The Last Dance fans out there.
Yeah, I love how nonsensical and bullshit that is.
Well, I also watched a movie that I didn't care for this week. Came out earlier this year, I think it was Valentine's Day, maybe.
Yeah, it was.
It's Wuthering Heights, the, 5th or 6th version of this. I'd never seen any version of this story before. I never read the book, anything like that, so I was coming in pretty fresh, aside from when you had talked about it, whenever you saw it. And comes from Emerald Fennell, who's made a couple movies that I like, Promising Young Woman and Saltburn. Very weird, interesting movies.
Which of those two do you prefer?
They're pretty close for me. Maybe Saltburn by a hair.
Yeah.
But I could swing either way on those. So I've liked that. She won an Oscar for Promising Young Woman for writing, so I enjoy her work. This movie is starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi as Catherine and Heathcliff. And it's a love story and, I don't know, fucking 18th century something in England, just living in Wuthering Heights bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah, you like this one, I can
tell. I don't know, whatever. I try to go into every movie being like, I want to give it a chance, and I always, try and do that, but sometimes there's just movies where I'm like, I just don't know if this one's for me. Yeah. Not that I'm against a good romance movie. I definitely like some for sure. But this one, I did not care about at all. I just... Maybe the book is obviously beloved and impactful. It's had a lot of adaptations of it for sure. But this one, for me, I didn't care about the relationship between these two people. Yeah. I didn't care about the story. It was way too long. It's like 2 hours and 16 minutes. Yeah. I just felt every fucking minute of it.
All the characters are kind of despicable, and it makes it so hard to root for any of them.
Yeah, like you're all doing terrible things at a certain point, and it's like kind of teasing itself as being like this really like sexy movie at times. I'm like,
it's not.
Not really. Like, I don't know. There's a dog collar on a girl at one time, and she's barking.
Jacob Elordi just being a despicable human being to Margot Robbie's character's sister. Is that what it is?
She works. I think it's Isabella's the character's name. She like works in the place where Margot Robbie gets married to this guy, and she's like a servant there, or like I don't know, she's something there. She works there.
Oh, or is it Catherine, Margot Robbie's character's husband's sister?
It may be that.
I think it's that.
Yeah,
it's like her sister.
Something like that. But yeah, it's a quick shift for. I mean, Jacob Elordi. He gets turned down by Margot Robbie in this movie.
Turns into the most despicable.
Like, you jumped pretty quick into doing bad.
Yeah.
Like, we hadn't really seen that
from
this whole movie. He was waiting for
the excuse. He was just like, let me do it. Let me do it.
Yeah. As far as some positives for it, I mean, the cinematography is great. Linus Sandgren, who did La La Land, he's going to be doing Dune Part 3. I mean, he's a great cinematographer. The movie looks great. It looks almost like a fairy tale or like... it looks like the cover of a romance novel at times. Yeah. There's a scene of like Jacob Elordi riding out on a horse, and it's like a red background. You just see his silhouette. I'm like, this is a beautiful shot. Yeah. This looks amazing. or even their little like Wuthering Heights village. There's almost like a little hue over it where it just looks like fake, but in a good way, kind of. Yeah. So that was good. I mean, a lot of the production design and costumes are good. The kind of palace or the fancy house that Margot Robbie moves into, there's a lot of very cool rooms within it. There's a room with a red floor and like white walls that looks really sweet. I'm like, oh, this is working for me, but
the production value is there.
Yeah,
like, everything looks great.
For sure. It's just the characters and the stories I just didn't care about. And I know there was, I don't know, I guess controversy or whatever about the, like, Heathcliff in the book, I guess, is supposed to be maybe black. They kind of hint to that. Like I said, I haven't read it, so I'm not talking from experience, but I guess it's sort of been up for debate, but also in a lot of the other movie adaptations, I don't think he's been black a lot of time. Like, Ralph Fiennes played him or something in one of them.
Yeah.
Like, he's definitely not black. So,
he played Odyssey.
But, yeah. But it's like, I don't know, that I feel like that could have added a more interesting layer to this.
Some dynamic.
Because, I mean, like, when they're kids, when Owen Cooper plays the young Heathcliff, who I really like from Adolescence, he was pretty good. But like he comes in as kind of like their servant to their slave, so that adds a different layer to it.
Yeah.
If the main character's black, but they didn't do that, so yeah, I don't know. This one just didn't really work for me. I wanted to check it off the list. It's on HBO Max right now. If you wanted to check it out and didn't see it, or if you want to rewatch it again, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. I was really looking forward to this movie going into it, and like I heard a lot of people, or at least Emerald Fennell even came out and she was like, this is my interpretation of the story, and then people being mad that it's not like a faithful adaptation of the story, and it's just like, okay, I'm fine with her adaptation being her adaptation, that's fine, I have no issue with it, but then her adaptation, I was just like, I don't care about what's going on.
I don't give a fuck.
I'm like, I don't care about these characters, they're all mean to each other, and I just, like, I can't support any of them. There's a lot of infidelity, there's just a lot of sleeping around, and then Jacob Elordi being despicable, and then Margot Robbie's crying about it. I'm like, I feel like there's an easy way for you guys to figure this out. Maybe don't choose wealth and choose the love of your life. Oh, wow. Hey, that's not the most, like, new thing or new idea. And it's like, that's the crux of the story. Is like, maybe you should just choose love and not let this man that you completely besmirched absolutely rule your life afterwards, even though you have no connection to him anymore. So, what a weird kind of mismatch and mishandling, I feel like, of a movie I was actually looking forward to.
Yeah. A movie that I watched this week, also from earlier this year, that I liked a lot more is How to Make a Killing. Comes from John Patton Ford, who did a movie I really liked from a few years ago called Emily the Criminal. Very underrated little thriller with Aubrey Plaza. Check it out if you haven't seen it. But this movie stars Glenn Powell, and his mom was disowned by her family at birth when she got pregnant, and they're a big rich family, and so Glenn Powell gets born, his mom passes away, and he's like, alright, well, I am like 7th in line for the inheritance for this family fortune. What if I just start killing off the people ahead of me here? What if I just want to take them out? And that's the basis of the movie. They pull a neat little trick because it's a pretty dark premise, but it's played it's pretty fun. It's a pretty enjoyable movie along the way. They play it for comedy a lot of times. But I really enjoyed this movie. I thought Glenn Powell, I like Glenn Powell, but sometimes I do get when people are like, he feels like a Hollywood plant at times. I can kind of...
I get that.
I get it, and I can't even explain why I agree with that, but I do. There's times when he just tries to be really tough, like in The Running Man we talked about last year.
He's the angriest man in the world. No, he's not.
No, he's not. He doesn't do that a lot in this movie, but the opening scene of him, he just like does some things where I'm like, you're trying to be the cool guy right now. But overall, he is really good in the movie, though. Margaret Qualley is really great in this movie. Her legs look fantastic in this fucking thing. Holy shit. Jessica Henwick is also really good. She kind of plays his love interest in the movie, and I thought that it was a fun little journey as we just see him taking out these people, and there's some fun little, not cameos necessarily, but just Topher Grace plays this like mega church leader who's just got like swords and different things, but he's like doing a lot of shady shit also, but he's like, it's in the name of God, so that's okay. Zach Woods, who is Gabe from The Office, he's really funny in the movie. He's got a fun little part as like an artist who's very pretentious but very fun. And I really like how the movie wraps up. It took me a little bit to kind of get one over on it because it doesn't follow where I thought it was going necessarily, where it's the traditional kind of like, hey, everything's going to turn out well for you. And they mentioned it a lot of times throughout the movie that this is a tragedy. Glenn Powell, the movie starts out with him in jail and he's talking to a priest and he's like retelling the story and he's like, "This is a tragedy. I'm going to warn you." And then you get to the end and it makes sense as to why. Because it's really like you get everything you want, but was it the right choice?
Yeah.
Is it actually what my mom wanted for me? Is this what I should have done? So it actually had a little bit more depth to it than I was expecting. But just overall, a fun time. Again, it's on HBO Max. I think it came out around the same time as Wuthering Heights, if not the same weekend, maybe. I don't know. But I think it was like February-ish.
It feels like a February-March time, yeah.
But I really enjoyed this one. Again, I think John Patton Ford, he just makes movies that are kind of on my wavelength. I like what he's putting out there. I think he's pretty underrated. So, I would definitely say check this one out.
Yeah, this has been one that now it's been on HBO Max. Every time I'm looking for something that I want to watch that I missed maybe from earlier this year, this is one of those films. This is actually the one that's like probably towards the top of the list of things I want to catch up on, just because I like Glenn Powell and the trailers worked well enough. This is an A24 film, I believe, right? Yeah. So I'm at least interested in checking it out. I probably will before year end, but yeah, I'm actually probably more interested now hearing about kind of your thoughts on it than I was originally when it was coming out to theater. So I probably will in the coming weeks. Looking ahead to new releases for July 31st, there's 3 releases listed. There is one big one, obviously, for Corey and I and a lot
Soulmate.
of MCU fans. It's Soulmate, the VOD release Soulmate, that somewhat spin-off of Mithrigan. No, it's Spider-Man Brand New Day, coming from director Destin Daniel Cretton, who obviously made Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is one of the better Marvel Cinematic Universe movies post-Endgame. I love that movie. Can't wait to see him handle Spider-Man. He also did Short Term 12, which is a very emotionally moving movie with Brie Larson. Just Mercy, which you might check out.
I'll watch this week, yeah.
Which is another great film with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx. But yeah, we got the main cast: the Tom Holland, Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, Sadie Sink, Mark Ruffalo, John Bernthal. Is Michael Mando the guy that will be taking up the Scorpion? Like that's him.
He's Nacho from Better Call Saul. He's great in that show.
I'm so excited to see Scorpion in a live-action Spider-Man movie. I'm excited to see villains that we haven't seen, like Tombstone also being in this is really exciting. A forgotten Peter Parker lives alone as a full-time Spider-Man until mounting pressures triggers a dangerous change and a powerful new enemy emerges. I'm excited for all the speculation, all the Sadie Sink. Is she Jean Grey? Is she not? I don't really care too much about that. I'm just excited to see Destin Daniel Cretton make a Spider-Man film, Spider-Man being my favorite superhero. And I think that this has the potential to be the best MCU Spider-Man movie pretty easily, even though I love the other 3. But I have high expectation. We're seeing with 2 of our buddies on this Friday, which we typically see a lot of the MCU movies when they release with the same kind of core group of 4 guys. So I'm really excited to check this out. I've been wanting to rewatch some of the Spider-Man movies, not necessarily the MCU ones because I'm pretty up to date on those ones. I've seen them pretty frequently. I've been wanting to rewatch Spider-Man 3, weirdly enough. I have a lot of nostalgia for that movie, even though it is one of the weaker. It's not as weak as Amazing Spider-Man 2 to me, but it is one of the weaker Spider-Man films. So I'll probably check that out this week and rewatch that one.
I know they released like a final trailer for this movie this past week. There's not too much new stuff. There's like a little more Hulk, a little more Punisher, just kind of some other. The first like half of the trailer is more of like here's the highlights from the first 3 Spider-Man.
Oh, then I did see that. Okay.
So it's kind of like a best hits, and then it kind of has some new shots in the back half of it. But no, I can't wait to see this one. I'm excited to just hopefully keep it more ground level. I mean, there's obviously a lot of people popping up in here, but still, it's even like with Punisher and stuff, just kind of on the street level villains and stuff like that. I'm pumped to see it.
What villain are you most excited to see in this movie?
Ooh.
Of the ones that we know about, because I feel like there might be stuff that will get revealed and we just won't know.
I'm very curious to see how they tackle the Hand.
Yeah,
like
how they reincorporate that.
Yeah, I like the Hand a lot. I enjoyed them in Daredevil season 2. Even though like that season as a whole, like it feels like 2 separate things. I like what they did with them there. So just to see how they bring them in, I'm kind of interested in.
I'm interested to see how they handle it, and if they do it without having any mention or show of Daredevil. Which obviously, if they were, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept it under wraps and wanted that to be a surprise. But I don't know how you breach the Hand with the Punisher being here and not also incorporate Daredevil, especially if he's in prison right now post Daredevil Born Again season 2. I'm like, come on, make it work. I think having like that trio of ground level superheroes together would be really cool to see in this movie. But yeah, I can't wait. I don't have like the highest expectations, but I think it can be really great. So I'm excited to check it out. We also have I Want Your Sex coming out this week, starring Olivia Wilde and Cooper Hoffman. Also Johnny Knoxville and Daveed Diggs. Elliot lands a job for Erica Tracy as her sexual muse.
Lucky guy.
Lucky Cooper Hoffman getting to do that with Olivia Wilde. But I don't know. The movie itself, the trailers haven't like played the best for me. I just like the cast that's in it. I just love Cooper Hoffman in all honesty.
Yeah.
Olivia Wilde's fantastic. We talked about The Invite and how great that is from this year, but Cooper Hoffman, I love him so much. So it's more of an interesting cast and an interesting premise. The trailers, the lighting just feels weird to me. Like the look of it just, I don't know, something doesn't rub me the right way. Even though Cooper Hoffman's probably getting rubbed the right way.
I almost made that same joke.
Thank you. But I might check this one out. It might not be an immediate, obviously, with Spider-Man coming out and me maybe trying to also shove in the Odyssey sometime this week. Also, a movie that's not listed, I'll get to the one that's going VOD, which we already teased, but I will be seeing Hadestown, the musical. They did like a live taping of the Broadway show of that. I'm seeing that on Tuesday night this week with my wife. It's one of her favorite musicals. She sings the songs all the time. I've never seen Hadestown, so we'll be checking that out on Tuesday, so I'll have that to check off and kind of report on next week as well. But if you don't want to go to the theaters and you want to watch something at home, Soulmate on VOD, which they spell Soulmate T. Soulmate. Because I'm like, you put the 8 where the A is supposed to be. You don't need the TE following it.
You don't.
But VOD on August 1st. This is coming from director Kate Dolan. This is somehow, some way, a spiritual, not even successor. It's more of just a somewhat loose spin-off to the Mithrigan movies. A man acquires an artificially intelligent android to cope with the loss of his recently deceased wife. In an attempt to create a fully sentient partner, he inadvertently turns a harmless love bot into a deadly soulmate. Okay, cool. Like I feel like it's just gonna be a greasy incel trying to fuck a bot the entire time. Like I don't know what this is like. It's also the fact that it's been downgraded because I think they probably initially had plans if Mithrigan 2 did better to put this in theaters, but now with that kind of dwindling, and I'm like, all right, well this doesn't bode well for like my confidence in this movie or where the quality might be at. So if you want to check it out, honestly, I'm at least somewhat interested because making it a little bit more accessible, it's like, why not? I'll watch this at home and hate it. Like, why not? I'll have a couple of drinks. So who knows? Maybe I'll check out Soulmate sometime soon.
I know it was going to come out in theaters like in January, and then they took it off the schedule at, like you said, after Mithrigan 2.0 didn't do very well. It just sounds like that Megan Fox movie Subservience or whatever.
Like
I didn't see it, but
Companion, which was a
great
movie with Sophie Thatcher.
Good.
So I feel like they wanted to strike while the iron was hot with Mithrigan, and then they were like, yeah, we got so many things planned, and then Mithrigan 2 tanked, and then they're like, oh fuck,
shit.
Oh well, we still have this in the back burner. So what are we doing?
Soulmate waiting for us.
Soulmate. Moving into a physical media roundup, what we purchased lately, I did pick up, or pre-ordered I should say, the Masters of the Universe, not the new one, the 1987 version. There's a special edition Blu-ray around there floating around that comes out in September, so I pre-ordered that. And then on our drive back, or before we left Michigan, I ordered a 4K Blu-ray of Man on a Ledge, that Sam Worthington movie that no one talks about. I really like that movie. I saw that movie in theaters a lot when I was a kid. I enjoy that movie. It's not the best, but I forget if I mentioned it last week, but I did order a 4K of that, and I have that in my collection now.
You're just going to mention Man on a Ledge every week.
Yeah, do you know if I said it last week? I don't remember.
Coming out this week is a lot of things happening. We got Mortal Kombat 2, The Devil Wears Prada 2, Pressure, In the Gray, Is God Is, Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair, which I'm very stoked to buy someday and watch that because I still haven't seen that cut of the movies. And then we have The Paper, the Office kind of sequel spinoff, the first season of that. And then the complete collection of Stranger Things, the 4K Arrow box set. Really nice set, actually.
Yeah, it looks
very,
cool.
Very cool design. I like that. Probably pretty expensive, though. So you might want to save up for that one if you're looking to buy that one. Into some movie news. The big thing, like you mentioned earlier, was Comic-Con this week. I think it actually wraps up today on Sunday, but a lot of the main stuff has already happened.
Yeah.
Impossible for us to cover everything, kind of like with CinemaCon earlier this year. We weren't there.
Yeah.
We don't know everything, but from what we could see on social media and everything, we'll just highlight some of the bigger things. The first one, it's always fun when an actor shows up in their role as, like, promoting a movie. Johnny Depp did that for Ebenezer, the new Ty West movie that's coming out this November, December. And they released a trailer for it too, and it looks pretty fun. Like it looks like an old school. Even in the trailer, they say like the man who brought you Jack Sparrow and Edward Scissorhands, and it's like it's gonna get back to like weird, quirky Johnny Depp doing stuff.
Yeah, it makes me feel like a little darker, quirkier turn on like the George C. Scott Christmas Carol, and I'm interested to see what Ty West does with like the Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future. Like I think that there's a lot of good material there, and also like. I don't know. The humor kind of got me of Johnny Depp doing the Johnny Deppisms, like it kind of worked for me. So I'm like, I'm also just kind of excited to see him in movies again.
Yeah, he got on the Amber Heard trial and he's back.
Me and my wife, after watching Her Private Hell, went home and watched like highlights of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial and just were cackling for like an hour and a half last night.
So good. Another one of my favorite moments that I just saw from Comic-Con was the Spaceballs, the new one panel. They had Rick Moranis out there. It was great to see him back talking about movies and just why he wanted to come back for this one. But they did a play on what Marvel, which we'll talk about in a second.
And Star Wars.
Yeah, and Star Wars and everything, of laying out their phases of plans. Of being like, all right, this is the Phase 2 roadmap. Here's what we're doing. And they had like just 8 screens lined up around of like, all right, here's Spaceballs 26. Here's the viewing order of it, but here's the chronological order of what's going on. Here's the next 7 phases of Spaceballs movies. Perfect. I mean, that's what else could you do at a Comic-Con with Spaceballs? I am very excited for this movie. Everything that they keep releasing for it, I'm like, I'm getting so pumped for this one. And then the biggest stuff was Marvel back in Hall H. Was it 2 years ago that Downey was there when they revealed him?
I think it probably was 2 years.
Probably, yeah. I guess it had to be. So we had that, but they were back this year. Not as many the quantity of announcements wasn't quite there this year, but I think the quality was pretty on par. The first big thing is we're getting a Ghost Rider movie in 2028. Ryan Gosling, who has been fan cast by everybody, and everyone's wanted him to play this character for a while. He's going to be in that lead role as Johnny Blaze. And then Sean Levy's directing the movie too. So after I guess they worked out on Star Wars Starfighter, they liked working together. So
Sean Levy just wants to work with Ryan Reynolds and with the Atom Project and Deadpool and Wolverine and stuff like that. And now having Ryan Gosling after Star Wars Starfighter, I like the idea of Ghost Rider, and I hope that I think Sean Levy's a good director, and I think that they could make this into something really special. Hopefully to propel Blade to maybe being a thing again. Maybe we do like a little Midnight Sun stuff. Maybe Kevin Feige can stop feeling like such a loser and get Blade off the ground, because that was a funny development from this week of him just being so sulking and I feel like such a loser. It's like, you just brought about the biggest film franchise in all history, so like settle down, you're okay. I do like the idea of Ryan Gosling. Part of me feels a little bit like the Pedro Pascal being cast as Reed Richards, where I'm like, okay, it feels like you just got like the hot name that people were fan casting, and while I love Ryan Gosling, I think he'll be great. I kind of wish it was maybe someone a little bit more not on like his level or echelon of fame, so I could kind of better bleed into believing that this is a character and not Ryan Gosling. And then 10 minutes, and I'm like, okay, now it's gone. But I'm excited enough for it. I think that even like the font that they released, which they can change the font or the poster or whatever, however they want in the years leading up to the movie coming out in 2028, but it looked cool. I'm like, why not? I never would have guessed that we'd get a Ghost Rider movie, which, granted, I never would have guessed that we would have gotten a Blade movie, but that has yet to be seen. So. Yeah,
this movie may never come out. Who knows? It's possible. All these
second big loss for Kevin Feige.
I haven't watched all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Did Diego Luna?
No, it was Gabriel Luna.
I
actually really like that cast. I haven't seen his sections as Ghost Rider in that show.
I've only seen like the look of it, and I'm like, that looks cool.
Yeah, I'm like, it'd be cool if they brought him back. But it would be cool to see. I mean, Ryan Gosling, I feel like it'll be fun. We'll see if it can be better than Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
That's a high bar.
That's a very high bar.
That's a hard movie to watch. Yeah. Oh my god.
We'll always have the Nicolas Cage flicks if we need to go back to them.
It's not horrible.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's fine.
The other big news was that we're getting a Black Panther 3, which we all kind of knew. Big news here is that it's coming out in 2028, and that David Johnson, who was in Alien Romulus and The Long Walk, who we have raved about since we started this podcast, he's going to be playing Black Panther's son. Toussaint, I think is his name.
Oh, I don't remember. Everything was T'Challa's son. I'm like, okay, cool. Forgot, does he have a name?
Right. So we saw him at the end of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We're going to have to do quite a bit of a time jump we were talking about that beforehand, because like that's a 6-year-old kid at the end of Wakanda Forever, so that's going to be like a solid 15 years, maybe. 12 to 15 years or something?
Does like Doomsday play a role? Like, is there a time travel?
Maybe another blip?
Yeah, another kind of multiversal reckoning thing. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
They'll make it work, and like you can make whatever work if you have David Johnson being Tucson or being
Great
T'Challa's
casting.
son. That's phenomenal. I remember seeing a lot of like fan casting of like Damson Idris after F1 came out, and like I think David Johnson has just like that air of regality, and just like he feels like he could be a king. Like he has like that stoicism and that charm to him. I brought up to Corey. I love that. Not that this was intentional by design. Obviously, you thought Chadwick Boseman would be able to play this character forever and throughout the MCU, and we wish he could. But I think it is kind of cool that of the superheroes that we got in the MCU, the one that has the passing of the torch is Black Panther. So we'll have T'Challa as Black Panther. We'll have Shuri in Black Panther. Wakanda Forever be Black Panther. And now we'll have Toussaint eventually take up that mantle in Black Panther 3. I like that is like a passing of the torch, and it's more of like just a moniker for a strong leader or warrior of Wakanda. So I think that's just like kind of a cool thing that they've been able to somewhat integrate and kind of weave into the story, just to kind of, in the absence of Chadwick Boseman, help polish up that franchise. So if anything, it makes me want to rewatch Black Panther Wakanda Forever now. As someone who likes both of the Black Panther movies, don't necessarily love either of them the most, but I'm excited to just kind of see where they go. Also, if Denzel Washington is actually going to be in this movie, that'd be really cool too.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
There was no news announced for any movies coming out next year besides Secret Wars.
Yeah.
I thought they maybe might slip one in there, be like, hey, summer of next year, we got something.
Yeah.
So as of right now, Secret Wars is the only movie on the slate for next year.
Which is interesting, because like, even like we had Captain Marvel between Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
I keep seeing people like talk about like, oh, another Avengers movie. They'll split Secret Wars into two, and it's like I never felt that would happen.
No, I don't think so.
But I feel like you could put a one-off, but also we don't know what the timeline's gonna be like post Doomsday, so everything could be just upside down, and then Doom's just like, welcome to Battle World, bitches. You're gonna die.
Well, speaking of Doomsday, they had their whole panel. I think they started out with a kind of teasing the Avengers Endgame re-release in September, saying that there's going to be some new footage in there and some things that tie directly into Doomsday. So we'll definitely go see that and give our thoughts on Endgame and kind of the new stuff.
Oh, we have to go see that?
Ah, dang it.
I have to go see Endgame on the big screen again and make it the best or the highest earning movie of all time now?
Yeah, probably. That's the only reason they're doing it. And we get to see it in Infinity Vision, which is... everybody knows what that is.
Yeah, they put so much work into that.
Yeah. Slap the fucking sticker on it and say, all right, you're all good. But we did have the Doomsday panel. They had like 3 different stages of Thunderbolts and X-Men and all the main cast on there, and Herbie rolling around on stage.
Herbie's updated. He got a bit of a facelift post first step, so I'm interested to see how that works.
I liked the look of Herbie before.
I liked the previous one more. I liked how retro it was. But we also at Comic-Con they had the Latvian witches, like those costumes on display. And I was like, I don't know much about like Latvian Doctor Doom. Like I know Doctor Doom only in what I've seen in Fantastic Four and like how he's incorporated and as just being like the villain. But also they never really delve into Latveria. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. We had like a green robed one, a purple, and an orange. It's like is that Clea and is that whatever Tilda Swinton's character is? I can't remember.
The ancient one?
Ancient one. Like is there some overlap with that, or is that just like a coincidence? Who knows? But I'm interested to just see what the world of Latveria and Doctor Doom hails from, like what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm excited. And we got more of Downey's accent as Doctor Doom. And we also had Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool show up. He was in a gray Deadpool suit. He was asking questions from the crowd.
Hey, Paul Rudd.
Hey, why was Thor crying? And trying to get some questions answered
Paul Rudd,
there.
he was a Wrexham fan.
Yeah.
Awesome bird.
Incredible. So, fun little panel. We also did have, well, speaking of Deadpool first, Deadpool 4, Ryan Reynolds announced earlier this week. Not many other details of directing or writing or anything. He's going to be a writer, but...
they're working on it.
Yeah, they're working on it, so that's exciting. We also did have the Avengers Doomsday trailer not released at Comic-Con, but released on Monday, I think it was.
With ticket sales going on.
Yep, so tickets are on sale now for those premium Infinity Vision screens. We're just going to turn into some Marvel shills and just...
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
stupid.
It's the biggest stunt thing that they could do. Yeah. Like, if that's the issue that you have and you need to develop this bullshit new tactic to try and get people to go to a specific screen to see your movie, it's like, just move off the date, do a different date from Dune Part 3, you lost, get IMAX
screens.
See
it. Like, you don't have to do
also,
this.
you don't need IMAX for people to, like, roll out to see this movie. This movie will make gangbusters regardless, so it doesn't really matter.
It's going to be fine.
But that trailer...
You know, it's grown on me a little bit. When I first watched it, as like the first true trailer for the movie. We had the 4 kind of like
Yeah.
character ones that were like 30 seconds or whatever. This one didn't get me as hyped as like the first time I watched the Infinity War trailer or Endgame trailer. Those I was like, ooh, this is getting me so pumped. This one I'm like, okay, the people are here, the action figures are assembled, and they're gonna do this. There's some punching and kicking.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is great to see just like Mystique and Yelena fighting, and see Gambit and Shang-Chi fighting. I mean, obviously the kind of big thing is Thor coming in, being like, all right, who the fuck do I got to work with as the Avengers now? Oh, you have guns and knives?
Cool.
Okay. Yeah,
you
we'll
sent me-
figure that out.
You sent me that meme of like Jake Gyllenhaal and End of Watch of like Thor meeting the Thunderbolts and seeing what their power set is, and it's just him showing off his guns. I'm just like, oh, that's so funny.
So he's trying to ramp up the crew. Obviously, he's got Stormbreaker, tries to swing it down on Doom, stops it with 2 fingers.
Yeah.
Badass. Like, that's sweet.
I love the voice of Doom, and it's so unrecognizable of it being Downey. Like, I'm like, that works already for me. I do think, like, the biggest issue I have with this trailer is, which it coincides with tickets going on sale, but it coming off of the high of Odyssey. Odyssey is kind of tainted movies for me for a little bit, so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I get that I have this to look forward to towards the end of this year in December as sirens are going by. Sorry about that, audio
Siren
listeners.
song.
Siren song, here we go. But I'm really excited for the trailer, and it does feel like it lacks some of that momentum just because there hasn't been like a consistent through line with the MCU, which isn't anything new that's been brought up, but it's oh cool, we get to see these characters come together, but you don't get a lot of the satisfaction of like I've known these characters for so long, and now they get to share screen time. It's like, oh, I've known these characters for 2 years, and now they get to share screen time. There's Shang-Chi again, finally. There he is, fighting Gambit. Awesome, cool. Can't wait to see that. I came out of my daddy's dick ready, or whatever you said. I can't wait to see Gambit again. I feel like they rely on some nostalgia of that scene of him passing Mjolnir back to Steve Rogers. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. I do like that it is serious Thor, that we are getting him post Thor Love and Thunder, and he's like, no, all right, let's right the ship. I'm serious. Yep. Bad things are coming. It does feel kind of like a convenience to put it into the script of him being like, I've known mighty warriors to fight big bad villains basically, and I've never been more scared of this person coming up. It's like, oh, okay, nothing mattered before. This is the big bad, I promise you. It's like, it feels a little lazy, but I'm like, it kind of works for me. So I'm interested enough. I think the trailer's good enough for an announcement, or like that first official trailer, and it gives you a lot of cool kind of notes of like the X-Men and stuff like that, so I'm excited about it.
Yeah, Steve Rogers, Chris Evans, he looked weird. He looked interesting.
And I'm like, is it just lighting? I don't know.
Could be.
Know. Or he's slimmed down and gotten big so many times to where he's like, all right, your body's changing. I don't know.
Interesting. Could be an evil Steve Rogers.
I don't buy that.
I don't know. I've seen some people throwing that out there.
Like
that could be
a Hydra agent or whatever it is.
Could be. It's possible. That'd be a fun way to take it, I suppose. But I don't know. We're coming up pretty soon here. It's going to be here before we know it, and go see Doomsday. Just a couple other trailers that came out this week. Clayface had another great trailer. Very excited for that movie.
I did not watch it. I don't want to see anything more.
Okay,
I can't wait for this movie.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, that first initial trailer was great, and this one continues to look sweet. Hopefully, this is the best of the DCU movies so far.
I think that it's in good position to do that.
Yeah, I'm excited for Thomas Rhys Harries. I think that's his name. The guy that's playing Clayface in it.
Which, if I'm remembering correctly, and I'm going to double check as well as you're looking that up, I think he was in The Return. So to kind of bring that full circle, I think he played Robert Pattinson's character in The Return.
Antinous? Okay.
I'll need to double check that, otherwise I'm going to feel like a complete idiot. It could have just been another random European blonde man playing that character. But
he was in The Return. He played Pissander.
Okay. Not who I thought.
I don't know who Pissander is.
Yeah, I maybe I don't remember. But he was really good. He was an antagonist in that movie. So.
Yeah. No, I'm pumped to see that movie. Also, a thing that I'd heard about on opening weekend of the Odyssey was people seeing the Other Mommy trailer, which the 70mm IMAX one, they only showed the first 4 minutes of Dune Part 3. We only got that. Yeah, that fucking sucked.
Fuck me.
Yeah, that didn't look crazy good. Stilgar and the boys rolling up. The fucking ship back into the sea is hilarious. But the thing I'd heard is that people were like, wow, that trailer for Other Mommy looks crazy. It's a horror movie starring Jessica Chastain.
Who's directing it? Do you know? Otherwise I can look it up.
I'm not sure who's directing, but I saw it when I saw the Odyssey for a second time. And yeah, it looks pretty freaky. Jessica Chastain being in a horror movie again, that's pretty fun. And there's just the shot of her, essentially it looks like the premise is there's like a duplicate version of Jessica Chastain, and she's terrorizing their family in their house. And there's just the shot of like it cuts away, cuts back, and she's under the table, just all fucking mangled up, and her arms are all weird and shit.
Directed by Rob Savage, and looks like he directed previously Host from 2020 and The Boogeyman from 2023.
Yeah, I like The Boogeyman. It's pretty...
Was that the... It was the Sophie Thatcher one. I do like that movie a decent amount. I think that one kind of got slept on a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So, yeah, this trailer looked pretty sweet, actually.
Made me think of Mama a little bit. Just
Mama.
Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one for sure. And then the last little bit of news that we had is Days of Thunder is getting a sequel. Coming off the high of F1 and all the success, people speculated that F1 2, or whatever the fuck it's going to be called, F1 the sequel, whatever.
F1 Faster.
F1 Faster and Furiouser.
Furious. F1 Diesel.
Diesel.
A little callback to our flub on our first take of this episode.
But yeah, so Jonathan Levine is coming in to direct it. He did 50-50, which is a great movie. Warm Bodies, which is not bad, actually.
Good retelling of Romeo and Juliet, not bad.
Pretty good. The Night Before, hilarious Christmas movie. One of my favorite recent Christmas movies that I try and watch every couple of years. And then Long Shot, which I haven't seen. I know you have
that's pretty
seen
good.
it. Yeah. So, interesting director coming in to tackle this movie. Tom Cruise coming back as Cole Trickle. Who knows if there will be a Brad Pitt F1 appearance in there? Probably not. But, yeah, I'm excited for the movie. I love the original Days of Thunder. And obviously, just with that hype of the racing that we got with F1 last year, feels like we're primed for Tom Cruise to come back and be like, all right, we're bringing the Top Gun Maverick style of filmmaking into the NASCAR cars and everything. So that could be pretty sweet.
This was the biggest movie announcement for me this week. I fucking love Days of Thunder. And I saw it for the first time maybe 2 years ago. One of the most quoted pieces of film dialogue in my household is bumping and rubbing is racing, son. My wife says that to me probably 30 times a day. And I think she's way more excited for this sequel than I am, which I never would have guessed that my little fucking rock climbing, redheaded, 5'2", crunchy girl wife wanted to go see a Days of Thunder sequel, but she is so stoked for this. I love the director, and fuck it, hell yeah. Bring Tom Cruise back in anything. I don't even care.
Yeah.
I keep seeing the Digger trailer, and I'm like, hell yeah, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for a Days of Thunder sequel. It sucks that we're not going to be able to have like Robert Duvall in it, or some of the returning cast members. I don't know, maybe you bring Nicole Kidman back. She wasn't bad in Days of Thunder. I feel like notoriously hated on Nicole Kidman there for like the first year of us doing this podcast, and I've since mellowed a little bit just for sake of me not being an absolute fucking heathen. But bring her back, why not? I think that movie is so of its time and so perfect, similar to like Top Gun, but the color grading of that movie is beautiful. Watching that movie, it still holds up well today, so I'm so excited for a sequel. Do we need a sequel? No, but I'll happily, gleefully take a sequel, so I can't wait to see that. And that will do it for today's episode. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Slate Night's Film Fan Podcast, us finally being homebound in Minnesota. In film, it's not just about what's on screen, it's about who's next to you in the theater. Go see the Odyssey.
Yeah, hello to Mason's grandpa, or
grandma.
Your grandma.
And my uncle.
Yeah, your uncle. Whoever told me at the wedding that they listened to us, and it was the episode from way back where we drank the shit beer, drinking Captain America, or watching Captain America Brave New World, and drinking that awful beer. He's like, wow, you guys were swearing a lot during that.
Yeah,
like,
my grandmother is one of the sweetest women of all time, and her telling me that she had to turn us off. I was like, why? Well, okay, that's fine. Good that you turned us off, but also you should never have listened. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Grandma Nancy, don't listen to me talk on here because you're going to get a whole side of me that no one should see.
Yeah. Sorry to any of our family members that aren't expecting what we're about to say. And
then we say it, and then it's like, oh.
Those are our boys. Those are our boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my brother.
Sounds
Sounds like an idiot.
All right. Yeah, fucking good. Anyways, from my side, Slate Night. That's a wrap.